to the 10th edition of Evolve, Axis Bank's exclusive knowledge series for MSMEs. I am Beena, your host for the evening. Conceptualized in 2014, Evolve began as a multi-city initiative aimed at equipping our MSME partners with the knowledge and tools essential for scaling their businesses. It also focused on providing a competitive edge through curated banking solutions. Over the years, we have engaged with over 1,200 customers across 50 plus cities, and we are proud to continue this journey with our 10th edition. Calicut has seen remarkable MSME growth driven by government initiatives and its role as North Kerala's major trade hub. Nationally, the MSME sector has emerged as a key pillar of India's trillion-dollar economy. This brings us to today's theme, MSMEs powering the $10 trillion economy. Our journey over the past decade has shaped our approach and vision for the MSME segment. As we continue to expand across cities, we are proud of the legacy we are building with our partners. Axis Bank's commercial banking group continues to innovate, delivering best-in-class banking services tailored to MSMEs. With immense pleasure, I now invite Mr. Vijay Shetty, President and Head, Commercial Banking Group, Axis Bank, to share his thoughts on MSMEs powering the trillion-dollar economy.
Thanks for joining us of the 10th edition of Axis Bank Evolve. We started Evolve almost 12 years back now, almost 11 years back. When we started, we thought of that point of time, India was evolving in terms of Viksit Bharat or Make in India strategy. What we thought that point of a time, we wanted to understand the MSME because as a bank, we are focused on MSME and we wanted to drive the MSME business in all across the country. I think we started with Metros Evolve as a knowledge series, meeting the customer, understanding and providing the solution for MSMEs. Today, as you know that India is almost 4.1 trillion country in terms of the GDP. Next, by 2032, we have to reach around 10 trillion. It means almost 6 trillion has to be done in few years. What it means, last 75 years, we could achieve 4.1 trillion and in few couple of years, we have to do almost double. We have to double that number. That can happen only in the room who are all you are sitting here and you need to drive that because MSME contributes Indian GDP almost 30%. And it's the biggest one. In that also, the Kerala is a tourism hub, which Indian GDP, I think it's almost contributes around 6.1% of the GDP. So quite large and the second largest in terms of the tourism. So what happened in last 5 years or 10 years in India, what he has to, because India is a consumption story, right? Today when we say that we have lots of geopolitical issues today, but still our GDP's growth is robust because of the consumption story. That's one of the reasons what makes India is more important for not only in India, across all countries, they are trying to do what we are trying to do with signing up the trade, signing the MOU with the trade with all the countries will help us to export as well as the domestic growth. Today, when I see that India has Udyam registered almost 7 crores of customers are registered in MSME. It happened after COVID. Sometimes what happens, if you challenge ourselves, we will evolve much more better. COVID is the lesson taught us because of that digital journey started for India. The earlier MSMEs, when I look at when we started digital lending in Axis Bank, we are not able to underwrite the customer when I want to lend somebody. We are not able to do that because nobody is filing ITR. If the filing ITR also happens with us, it's happened in the bottom up, right? How much I have to file, how much I have to pay the income tax, bottom up, and the throughput happens there. So today, the digital inputs are there in the MSMEs. We could able to informal lending. When I say that almost 100 crores, 100 trillion is the expectation of MSME growth in by 2032. That growth has to happen, in the credit growth has to happen. The informal segment has to move upward. Because Indian MSME were informal segment not able to get the credit, because of the digital prints, we are able to lend that. There are multiple growth story because of the government of India has taken up, like the lending where the CGTMSE is the product which a collateral-free loans gives to the MSMEs. That has also helped most of the MSMEs to grow the business. Maybe I'll give one story, what happened with Axis Bank, where one of the customer who's taken a CGTMSE loan of 40 lakhs. This company called BRD, this is a company which came for Shark Tank. And that guy, who is a salaried guy, joined to a self-employed when the COVID time is there, but that time he was thinking that what I will do if the salaries are not paid to me, what I should do. It's an inspiring story for me. We called him we are coming up with the Digital Evolve also, where we had a podcast with them. He was telling his story, what exactly the thought process of Indian young entrepreneur today thinks of it. Because earlier days, getting into a self-employed is not actually looked as a great opportunity. Today's young generation thinks that MSME is, or the self-employed, is not a taboo. It is actually the growth engine for MSME. And that guy got the investment from the Shark Tank. So this is a story about any small entrepreneur can grow up to maybe a unicorn. That's all about it. See, Kerala is, I think, it's the biggest 11th ranking in the GDP contribution to the in the state level. And when I see that the 3.8% of the GDP contribution is Kerala is contributing, and around 7 lakh MSMEs are registered here. I think Kerala is, I think when I look at Calicut, tier 2 or tier 3 cities, when you categorize, these are the segment also growing in the market. Today, we are doing this evolve in tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 cities. What we get a response from the smaller cities really encouraging to us, because everyone they can sell today. If it is the smallest town, he can sell across the world. It is not only in India. If you want to able to change as a MSME, I'm talking about evolving ourselves globally can be done, because in India, digital print will help all of us to grow. As an Axis Bank, we are trying to ensure that how we can help all the MSME to get into that system and grow your business. When I see that digital print, when you talked about, today, if I go to a pawn shop, earlier, can I lend the customer of a pawn shop guy or a 10 by 10 shop guy? It's really difficult for the bankers to do that. And if you walk into any bank or branch, the first question will ask about the financials. Aapka balance sheet, aapka complete details of how the business is running. Today, as a bank, I can underwrite him or evaluate him within a minute's time. Today, proudly we can say that we are one of the largest lender in India, including the fintech. Digitally, we disperse almost 1,000 crores within a minute, which is an unsecured loan up to 25 lakhs. Your banking behavior is good, your setup is there. With a click of a button, if the Axis customer is there, your behavior is in the banking is good, we can lend him. That's the evolution happens. I don't think before 10 years back, we never thought that we are able to do this. We are coming up with a multiple product. As Axis Bank, when I see that MSME growth in terms of across all segment, we are growing in the market. Give an example, tourism. In the tourism, which is a sector today in India, I think we can grow much, like 6.1% of the GDP. It can be maybe a 10% in over another 5 years' time. The reason is, If I look at in Kerala, around 2.2 crores of tourists are coming to in Kerala, domestic market. When I see earlier, 10 years back, number of 4-star or a 5-star hotel were limited. Today I can see that even the smallest town, also the top corporates are trying to get a 5-star hotel or a 3-star hotel or a 2-star hotel or a homestay. This is the evolution is happening in the domestic market as well as the international tourists are coming here. Earlier in India, like before COVID, the spending habit of the customers or the every individual was limited. After COVID, what we are seeing as a bank, the large population, they are ready to spend because the spending capacity is also increased and also the behavior of the customer is also changed because they want to give the best to their families. That's one of the reasons you can see in Kerala also, I think you see that tourism is growing rapidly. And as Axis Bank, we are the highest growth in the tourism sector. We have a multiple product where curated products for a tourism. Somebody is having a hotel, somebody is having a restaurant. We have a technology where we can integrate your with the system or use a current account and we are tied up with the fintech companies. They will help you in all automated systems. You don't have to buy completely separate system for that. What we did as an Axis Bank, today in a commercial banking, I can lend a 50,000 rupee, maybe 100 or a 200 crore limit also. We have made a separate team for a small business banking, small enterprise group, mid-corporate. We can service across all segment because the need of the customer, every segment varies. Today it's a hotel guy, it's a seasonal, it's a cash where the OD account can be given, quick OD can be given, or a term loan can be given. And it can be digitally, we can do those processes and fast track that. The important aspect for MSME is today, it's not only taking a loan, how you service, whatever the benefit as you can do that in terms of a transaction has to be faster for you, how digitally we can solve your problem. As a consumer today, as an individual, I have not gone to the branch, I have not gone to the ATM today because the most of the transaction I do digitally. Same thing, MSME is also coming up to the curve. I can see when I see the 1:10, the consumer who is a retail like saving account guy, they walking into the branches, we are completely reduced. When I see the MSME, still there is a walk into the custom branches are there. Their adoption of the digital is taking place, but it is not to the extent of the retail customer. For that, what we are trying to do is because the technology is also not supporting earlier, today we are developing a system where you don't have to come to the branch. If you want a bank guarantee, you don't have to come to branch. You can directly apply our Neo for banking, Neo for corporate. You can apply a bank guarantee. If you want to integrate a tally with respect to your current account, we can integrate. So the multiple products, multiple technologies we are developing, that will help you, all of you, to make sure that your time can be spent on the business development rather than the transaction. If you see the entire ecosystem, what we built, a mid-corporate to the small business banking, this will help all of us in terms of doing a transaction, ease of doing business. That's what we are looking at. If you see this, the balance sheet of Axis Bank, we have almost 2.6 lakh crores of outstanding in the MSMEs. We are growing at 24% CAGR. When I see that the smaller segment is growing much faster than the mid-corporate or the large corporate. That's one of the reasons informal sectors are moving into a formal and they are taking the formal credit. That's the reason the banking balance sheet of the bank is also growing and their business also growing that. One axis, when I look at it, it's not only the bank. We have a multiple subsidiaries. One of the subsidiaries which may be helpful for the MSMEs is 8rates. 8rates is a subsidiary company. If you have a working capital and you have a supplier or the vendor, you want to do a bill discounting, you can register yourself in 8rates. Your vendor or a supplier can take the discount of the bills, and it's a government backed a subsidiary, and this will help you to manage your working capital better. And if somebody want to do a IPO, we have Access Capital. He will help you in terms of how to apply IPO or run the IPO. Those things can, the Access Capital can help you in doing all those stuff. In terms of Access Mutual Funds, if you want to invest, they will help you in terms of the mutual fund, and the large chunk of investment has to be done, they can do well. We have Access Finance, which again NBFC, where bank can't do some of the transaction, they can do finance as an NBFC, they can do that. New for Access, what I talked about, a service. This is a technology where if any large corporate or a mid corporate or the SAG customers, you have a SAP, we can integrate yourself, our system with the API, and you can do a lot of the ease of doing in terms of the transaction, vendor management, or any other transaction which digitally you can work around. With all these things, when I look at you want to manage the wealth, the Axis Bank Private is one of the wealth management team. They manage your business, your individual transaction or legal service, anything you want to do, or you want to invest in the venture, some of the companies, they will help you, or you want some investment in your company, they can help you. This team is one of the team will help across all your segment or your maybe anchor, they will help you in terms of manage the wealth. My team is there, Burgundy Private team is here, entire team, or you can contact them, understand this product. If you're already there, you give us your experience, any suggestion or feedback, always welcome. Today we have a panel discussion. We have my colleague Brijesh is there. He will talk about maybe international trade and forex, what's happening in the entire geopolitical ecosystem. Very difficult to tell, but at least we will try to give decode some of the aspect. And what we want from you, all of you, is your feedback that will help us to grow, and that will help us to improve our service quality, that will help us to do our product innovation. And I want all of you to engage in this interaction. I'm sure this event will help you to grow business as well as grow business of Axis Bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay, for your valuable insights. A dynamic market outlook can significantly impact businesses. Understanding these shifts is crucial for MSMEs. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Brijesh Chalil, EVP and Head Treasury Market Sales, Axis Bank, to share his views on the current market landscape. The stage is all yours, Brijesh.
Personally, very excited to be here in Calicut, Kerala. Happens to be my hometown, so any opportunity. Thanks, Vijay, for having me here. Officially, welcome to Evolve, our 10th edition. This is a forum and a format where we celebrate MSMEs. We also show you ways in which we can empower you. And this is, I've been part of Evolve, I think, with Vijay now for over 2 years. And in this year alone, we've covered Siliguri, Jaipur, I think Coimbatore is coming up, Amritsar. So this is not, a one-off that we're doing. We take MSME very seriously. This tagline, powering, India's 10 trillion dream, I think somewhere all of India realizes that there's no way we're going to hit 10 trillion just in the boardrooms of Bombay. This happens, of course, in the boardrooms of Bombay, but also in, the fisheries, the ports, the leather companies across India, including at Calicut. The bank is very proud to offer its whole offering, and I know this is a very, very well-banked area, but I just want to tell you that it's good having a partner like Axis, which is a full-stack bank. #1 investment bank in the country, #1 treasury and markets for the last 15 years, the only bank that has MSME in literally 5 or 6 sub-segments, private Burgundy, which you heard, it's the fastest growing private wealth, in the country. Our digital app is the #1 app liked globally for banks. And that same digital prowess is now available to corporates as well. So a lot of firsts, full stack bank, which takes MSME very seriously. So we'd love to do more with you. We've all heard of the tariffs. We know we are at 50%. Just wanted to show you what it's actually going to cost us. So the chart on the top left shows what the tariffs cost India. So $2.3 billion is what it was costing India pre-Donald Trump. The first tariffs hit, which was under Section 232, which hit a lot of countries. That's the 10% baseline toll. So that cost us about $6 billion. Then the 25% for India specifically, that's an additional 9.6 billion. And then very recently, the punitive 25% tariffs for us, which has cost us about $14.2 billion. Will it stay? Personally, I don't think so. I think possibly the government will probably wait for Bihar elections. They might have to make some soft commitments on agri, because that is what the US is pushing for. So post elections, you might have some freeway given to this thing, and which is why you might see India and US settle, which would be a big boost. But currently, which are the sectors impacted? Jewelry, clothing, industrial machinery, you can see that. I was pretty surprised. We are trying to analyze post the last 6 months how much of, because 19% of jewelry ideally should get impacted, but we found jewelry and marine products fairly resilient, surprisingly. That graph on the right shows you, obviously there was a 20% fall for the exports to the US, but overall, despite all of this noise that we hear, India exports getting damned, it's not so true. We are up 4%, month on month, that is. Now coming to India policy, let's take a step back. I just want to tell you that industrial policy, all of you belong to different industries. It's very important that you take that industry and the policies and you take it to the right government, because the number of industrial policies which will play a role in regional trade agreements is becoming very, very crucial. So if there is a marine policy, please apply mind to it. So, we know that there are some countries in LATAM that have shrimp exports which are end-to-end, right? So they do the whole scale, whereas in India maybe it's a bit more fractured. So multiple industries have multiple policies. So the idea is we are seeing a big rise, and this is only till 2022. When we get this global data for 2025, that number would be, I would say, at least double of this number. So that's one point I just want to make. If you look down, is the number of RTAs. So I'm not saying actually I am saying globalization is dead. There is no globalization anymore. But that doesn't mean, so globalization was, I make the shirt, someone makes the buttons, someone makes the collar, we all come together and we say, let's synergize. I think that's gone now. People are just, it's regional agreements, 1:1. Bilateralism is up, multilateralism is dead. But global trade is up. So that's good news for everyone. The depth of the RTAs, which is why your industrial policies fold into this, right? So if you get your policies right and you get your voice right at the government level, the government will then bake those policies into the regional trade agreements, which will then help you boost your businesses. Of course, now a lot part of this is, I think somewhere we are caught between US and China. I think that is, we are possibly collateral damage somewhere in the middle. So if you look at China, just in 2005, it was 10% of world manufacturing. Today they are well over 30%, at the cost of Germany, Europe, US. And of course, China's been smart about it. They've got their own industrial policies which have helped them grow, right? We all know that they get cheaper financing, land, the size and scale, all of that has been given to them. So somewhere all countries need to do that if you have to achieve what China has achieved. I was telling you globalization is kind of dead. I just wanted to show you, what happens, history repeats itself. So if you see this graph, in 1929, we had the great, US recession. And then two gentlemen, Smoot and Hawley, came up with this idea, let's put tariffs on all our products. They did that, and we're seeing a similar stance now. Of course, when they did that, it was considered the biggest economic blunder. Because as soon as you put tariffs, world trade actually slumped eventually. And then people realized GATT was formed, World Trade Organization was formed, all by the US. But now you have to understand US has stepped back. They don't want globalization. They want regional trade or bilateral trade that's going on. So if you see, and those are some of the kind of boom bust situations which we have shown, but I just want you to pay attention to the bottom two graphs. This is what happened last time in phase 2, which I hope we don't see. That is called the weaponization of currencies. So what happens if suddenly someone puts a 50% tariff on India, and what happens if it doesn't go? What does a country like India finally do? We have about 400 billion of exports, right? How do we help our exporters? It's very easy. You just depreciate your currency 20, 30, 40%. It's problem solved. And that is what all those countries did. 14 countries, just big countries and globally, just got off, it was the gold standard then. So they just got off the gold standard, and the countries that did it actually did very well. So people haven't forgotten this lesson. So I do hope that this tariff war will end, because if it doesn't end soon, then we go into phase 2, which could be the weaponization of currencies. Although I do see a lot of unwinding of the tariffs, so hopefully we won't get to see this. From a US perspective, it's fairly profitable. So that is what the US collected in terms of tariff. And you can see the jump. Think of it from Donald Trump's perspective. The total US debt is 36 trillion. Now do the math. Today US rates around 4%. 4% on 36 trillion is 1 trillion. That is the interest that they have to pay. The US earnings every year are 5 trillion. Their expenses are 5 trillion. Plus this 1 trillion of coupon payments, forget it, principal. So they are running a negative 1 trillion economy every year just on coupon. If he brings, he's trying to do 2 things, 3 things actually. He's trying to bring the US Fed rates down from 4% to 1%. If he does succeed, obviously his coupon will come down from 1 trillion, 1% on 36 trillion would probably be 350 billion. Second, tariffs, which were giving him barely 2-3% today, on average they're going up to even 18%. So US imports, if you multiply that, that will give you another probably $400-500 billion. So he's going to recover most of his interest cost between tariffs and lowering interest rates. All of this is inflationary, and what happens when inflation goes up? Anyone who has money becomes poorer because value of goods goes up. So anyone who's in debt rejoices. So I think high inflation is great for the US as well. We just wanted to show you, this is China's graphs. What we are seeing is, and this is, I'm sure a lot of exporters here also know, global trade is not slowing down. US is saying I'm importing lesser, but China is saying I'm importing more. So what is basically happening is a lot of under invoicing, a lot of rerouting. Nothing is changing. Yes, some more additional legs. Now those legs cost money, and in the end the consumer pays for all of this, and hence we feel all of this is obviously going to be highly inflationary. Just want you to pay kudos to your government. This is what India is doing. If you see the top left, on the higher bar of the graph are countries we do more exports with or more trade with. India is doing FTAs or regional trade agreements with all of these countries. Some are done, some are happening. Spain, Korea, Italy, France. If you look at the right, total India exports 440 billion. Prior to this, about 145 billion was the only part that was effectively happening through agreements. Now you can see about 200 billion, 80 billion with US, if it gets signed up obviously, EU 79, Israel 2, China 16. If all this happens, about $200 billion incremental will happen through regional trade agreements, which will have industrial policy baked into it and which will impact your industry. So please, try and pay attention on that part for yourselves. Industrial policy, I think the PLI scheme is an amazing example. 14 PLI schemes, 2.1 lakh crores, and it is really paying dividends. So if you see the bottom 2 graphs, that shows India was a net importer of electronics, mostly mobile phones. Today India has turned a net exporter, mostly because of Apple, but it's because of the PLI scheme. So I'm saying the more schemes, the more industrial policies that come your way, better for your industry. Manufacturing is the way forward. What we are trying to say is that India's merchandising share is only 2%. We are going to be a 10 trillion economy. The only way up is manufacturing. We can take a leaf out of services. If you see the top right, you can see what the services industry has done. It actually has taken over higher end services. So somewhere India has to go beyond developing a TCS, which is say a product as a service. We need to develop products, right? There's no reason for example, semiconductors. I was at Semicon, I was speaking there. We realized that three parts to Semicon, right? You have the foundries which build the basic stuff, and then you have the other manufacturing companies, but then you have the high-end digital companies which consume and give you the highest amount of delta. So that's where India needs to be. So that's on industrial policy. Very quickly moving to macroeconomics on India. Again, people might have different political views, but you must understand we have enjoyed stability for 10 years. We don't care what the government is. From a business perspective, stability is always positive. Current government has spent a lot on infra projects, right? So you have to take advantage of this because this finally trickles down to MSME. So the Bharatmala project, I think there is a Kozhikode, Cochin Highway. There are multiple things, right? We've seen Bharatmala project, Sagarmala project, the Bombay-Delhi corridor, $200 billion, the Char Dham project. I mean, during my time, I never knew that trains would be ever made in India. All our trains used to get imported from Germany. Today we have Vande Bharat trains, almost 400 coming up. We have Udan, 90 airports, 4 crore people extra will fly, right? So all of these projects, airports coming up is boom time for tourism, right? So the point I'm making is, I think India is really stepping up on the infra boom. Please take advantage of this. What is good is, we're not just doing this on the infra side, we're also doing this on the digital infra side. We all know UPI, of course. UPI is going global, but it's ONDC, it's OCEAN, it's FASTag, it's DigiYatra, DigiLocker. So India is using, the internet very, very smartly. We're not using it to just do marketing. We're doing it to bridge the gap between, the haves and the have-nots. How we are capable of doing this is the cost of internet. Vijay mentioned that all of you should take advantage of being digital. Retail, most of us you don't go to the branch for a checkbook or withdrawing money today, right? We don't, for our businesses, we still do. And take advantage of India's digital cost, right? If you fly to the US, 1 GB of data costs $6. They're always so worried about how much data they consume. Here it's what? 10, 15 cents, 20 rupees, hardly anything. Point is, it's the cheapest and that data is showing. So we have gone from consuming 2% of world data to 20%. If you see the bottom, and I'll tell you, today, we all think internet is there all over India, everyone is doing various things. Do you know that internet penetration is all 98% through mobile phones? Imagine when that comes to homes or hotels, when the whole country becomes Wi-Fi enabled, then it's Internet of Things, right? So imagine the manufacturing boom you're going to see then. For a bank, let me just tell you, if you walk into my branch as a retail customer, it costs me 72 rupees to service you. When you withdraw money from an ATM, 15 years ago, 20 years ago when ATMs were launched, it came down to 15 rupees. Today, online banking 2 rupees. If you use my app, which is the best app by the way, it's 1 rupee. That's the saving, seamlessness for you. I was talking to Vijay today, he was telling me that some of the loans, after the credit officer approves it, gets disbursed in what? 5 minutes? 1 minute? It's amazing. So we covered infra, we covered digital, we covered, the strength of all of that. We also have a big social advantage, but just wanted to tell you that the social, this demographic advantage we have is not going to stay forever. So on the right, you can see the demographic bulge. Today, if you go to hotels, restaurants, you'll see a lot of people, young children everywhere. So we have a good boom time, right? But please understand, then those people will age. And today, India's population, we are below the reproduction kind of point. So effectively, what's going to happen, post 20, 30 years, we will start aging. And then we will go the Japan way or some other country way. So we have only 15, 20 years to become rich as a country before we become old. Because then when the new generation comes, they'll have different problems. So idea is to grow rich before you grow old for the next generation, and which is probably up to us. Good, some positives, all the ladies in the room, please, accolades for yours, because thankfully the females in the labor force is actually really doubling. Also thanks to, the social fabric, the support systems around them. What we are also seeing is the number of hours is also growing up. So this will give some tailwinds, but overall I just want you to see the demographic boom will not last forever. A lot of you might have exports, imports. Dollar rupee is a bit of a cause of concern. We've seen a big move. We've seen a new RBI governor come in. Problem on rupee is that, money comes in through two, three forms, right? You have FDIs, FPIs. Today, FDI money is coming into India, but thanks to the IPO boom, a lot of money, FDI's money leaving the country as well. So private equity will put in, $200 million, sounds great, but in 5 years he's exiting with $2 billion, right? Can't stop him. It's a good thing, but I'm just telling you, FDI is leaving the country as well for the first time. FPI, which is hot money, which means money coming into the secondary market, someone buying stocks or someone buying government securities. We used to always see money coming in, but think of yourself sitting in Switzerland, you're a 500 million hedge fund. Why would you put money into India? Because you can buy US bonds for 4%. If you buy Indian bonds, it costs you, you'll get probably a 6.5% yield, 2.5% to hedge yourself, you're back at 4. So what's the great joy of coming to India? So we are not seeing that much money coming in. It's causing a bit of a problem. There is something called as BOP, net balance of payment. So all the money coming into the country, FDI, FPI, Malayalis in Dubai sending money back home, invisibles, all of that, and our outflows, trade outflows, all of that. Net, the balance of payment for India has usually been positive, $20–30 billion plus, despite trade deficits which we naturally have. So that this year is going to be 40 billion minus, which is why there is pressure on dollar rupee. And we don't see that pressure going away too soon. Rupee is a bit of an underperformer compared to its peers as well. From a GDP perspective, I think it's looking fairly good. We are seeing a rebound. Personally, our own forecast has gone up from 6.7 to 7%. Most economists are predicting a stronger second half. Food inflation has stayed very, very low. So, inflation has been benign, growth has been up. You've seen what the government has done this year. 100 basis cut in rates. 100 basis cut in CRR, which means liquidity. So there's a lot of liquidity, ample liquidity in the markets. Rates are down. Banks have been told, you can lend. So banks are also getting, opening up their purses. The government spending, which had not happened so much in the first half, is really ramping up in second half. So we are very bullish for a second half, a stronger second half. The flip side to that, you have to also now look ahead for next year, is that vegetable prices, everything was very low. So base effect, next year it has to go up. With all of this tariff, even if it comes down from 50 to 25%, inflation is going to go up. So if you haven't taken your loans, please rush to Mr. Vijay Shetty and take as many loans as possible, or James who's here, because next year I think inflation will go up, which means possibly you will see a hike in rates as well. Just wanted to show you where India stands with the rest of the world. Barely 3 countries with GDP rates, in excess of 3%, and we are at 7. That's the, IMF forecast. Ours is 7, so IMF is also revising theirs. So you can just see what a positive story India is compared to the rest of the world. So I'll just leave this last slide with you. So the key points to take away is tariffs and industrial policy is not changing. It's a mega trend. Please accept it and make use of it. We are caught somewhere between US and China tensions. I don't see this abating. This is year 1. This will continue till it culminates in whatever it culminates in. 50% on tariffs, unlikely to stay. Probably post-election you might see a rebound, but somewhere it'll scale back. No more globalization. Bilateralism is the word. India is building strong RTAs or FTAs, so same link to industrial policy. On macroeconomics, we do have global headwinds. China is slowing down, so dumping is possible. EU is slowing down. US will have its own issues next year. from an India perspective, strong economic winds, whether it is the demographics and all of that, and these will stay with us, but not forever. Strong impetus from the government, from the RBI, please take advantage of it. We've got all of these tailwinds blowing in our favor, so that Viksit Bharat story and this 10 trillion is a very real story. Second half, cyclical recovery, so whatever happened in Q1, Q2 or H1, you will definitely see a better Q3 and Q4. Mid to long term, inflation up, dollar rupee slightly worrisome because of what's happening globally. So next year I would say dollar bullish, so weak on rupee. But the long term prospects of India are looking pretty strong. That's it. Thanks guys.
MSMEs have evolved into the backbone of the Indian economy, contributing to GDP, employment, and regional development. Axis Bank remains deeply committed to supporting this segment with tailored banking solutions. We are confident that today's panel discussion will offer valuable perspectives on the theme, MSMEs powering the trillion-dollar economy. The panel will be moderated by our very own Mr. James Abraham, Senior Vice President, Mid Corporates, Axis Bank. Please welcome Mr. James Abraham to the stage. In conversation with James today, we are joined by three dynamic business leaders and valued customers from Calicut, each representing the vibrant spirit of MSMEs in Kerala. Together, we'll explore their entrepreneurial journeys, the evolving landscape of local industries, and the role of innovation in shaping the future. Let me welcome the first panelist for today, Mr. Ajal Mohammed, CEO, Highlight Group. Mr. Ajal Mohammed exemplifies dynamic leadership, blending strategic foresight with innovative thinking. A graduate of the Singapore Institute of Management and IIM Bangalore's Business Leadership Program in Real Estate, he began his career as Executive Director of Highlight Group's educational initiatives, transforming the white schools into benchmarks of excellence. Now, as CEO, he leads the group across diverse sectors and was honored with the BW Retail 40 Under 40 Award. Welcome, Mr. Ajal Mohammed. Our second panelist for the evening, Mr. M.A. Ashraf, Managing Director, Feroge Boards Limited. Mr. Ashraf heads Feroge Boards Limited, a leading door manufacturing company based in Aluva, Kochi, with operations across South India. He also promotes AMA Laminators Private Limited, an MBA graduate from James Madison University, Virginia, USA. He served as president of the All India Door Manufacturers Association and is well known across the industry and supply chain. Please welcome Mr. Ashraf. And our third panelist for the evening, Mr. Shahbaz Ali, Head Bakery Ingredients and Specialty Fats Division, Parison Group. Mr. Shahbaz Ali holds a Master's in Chemical Engineering from the University of Manchester and a Master's in Product Development from UC Berkeley. Please welcome Mr. Shahbaz Ali to the stage. We extend a warm welcome to all our panelists. Over to you, James.
Spoke a lot about Evolve, so I'm not speaking much. But we had a serious presentation last one, so we got a little excited. I thought we'll start with a joke. It's an old Malayalam saying, "Kochi kandavan achi venda, Kollam kandavan illam venda, appo Kozhikode kandavane veronnum venda ennu kettitunde." So I am pleased to be here amidst all of you being the host for the talk show. So let us chit chat with three great entrepreneurs from this city. What a great evening today with them, because I can see a first generation entrepreneur, Ashraf sir, sitting here. Then you have a second generation entrepreneur sitting next to me, Ajil. And you have a third generation entrepreneur sitting here. So it's a best combination we have. Ashraf sir, Please tell us about your entrepreneurial journey. What changes have you observed in the manufacturing industry compared to 10 years ago or 15 years ago rather, when you started, 2010, yeah?
No. I came back from the US, started working with my father, who had a plywood manufacturing business. I started with his traditional business, but soon started focusing on one product, which is door. And by year 2000, I ended up switching off everything and started focusing on just one product, single product, and all the components that goes into a door. The environment today and 90s are entirely different with regard to banking or operating in Kerala. Everything is so different now. So for these two, it's a different ball game. When we started, the environment for business in Kerala was not so friendly. Even the banking was very different. Today, the relationship with bankers are very different from what we had to go through in 90s. Credit was not available so easily, and bankers also were not so forthcoming. Now things are very different. And in my journey, I decided to focus on one product, dropped everything else. And by now, we are one of the leading players in that industry, and we are hitting almost 200 crores in one product. So it's a very different environment from 90s to now.
Same lines as a second generation entrepreneur. No, you started, you had a overseas education. You came back. By the time, 96, your father started Suleiman's, we all know, Highlight Group, started in 96. 30 years, the story was there, at least 20 years when you joined actually. So 20, 25 years. It's almost a foundation was laid. Compared to what Ashraf sir said, what difference it made to you as a second generation entrepreneur? And today, how you see that actually? What is your vision, what you see? How you will take it forward? Because I hear a lot of noise around, Kerala not being investor friendly and all other things. But you came back and you choose to stay here. So what's your view on this?
Good evening, everybody. So firstly, let me appreciate Axis Bank for introducing this Evolve knowledge series for MSMEs, right? And especially coming to our city, Calicut. Basically, Kozhikode or Calicut is not well known for entrepreneurs or enterprises. So thank you, Axis Bank, for taking this initiative firstly. And great to meet everybody here. And I'm very humbled and privileged to be seated here for a panel discussion where all the senior leaders are seated in front of me and sharing the stage also with these two great entrepreneurs here. So thank you firstly. And like you mentioned, my father started the business back in 1996 with a very humble beginning. We started in Malappuram district with a very small office, 50 square feet office. And now we are completing 30 years in the next upcoming year. We are celebrating the next 3 decades of Highlight Group. And like Ashraf sir mentioned, even my father used to tell me the stories of his early days when he started his business in Malappuram district. He started as a contractor and he was focusing majorly in Malabar region in the early days. So I think it was not easy, or it was not as same as it is the current situation. Like you mentioned, Kerala is not known for enterprises or entrepreneurship, investor friendly, all those things. I think it has changed now. When I came back, I've joined the business officially 6 years ago. And as I think in my introduction was already given, I took charge of the school education initiatives. We had 2 schools, so I took charge of those schools. But I was very much clear that I want to come back to Kerala. I was very much involved in my early days, school days or college days. Whenever I had vacations, I used to get involved in the business. So next decade is India's decade. And I was very sure about that. When I chose to come back, I wanted to focus here. I wanted to take this legacy forward. And it's very much changed now. It is very environment friendly, investor friendly, enterprises, the thought process, attitude, everything has changed now.
Great to hear that. So you summarize that, the way forward is much brighter is what you think and you say for the MSMEs in Kerala.
Absolutely.
Good to hear that. As coming to Shahbaz, yeah, it's for you probably the most difficult thing, 50 years legacy, 2 sets of parents ruling or sitting there when you joining an enterprise, 2 sets of vision, and more than that, to some extent we can manage your parents. You will say that I'm US educated, I'm from Manchester University. You can tell that this is what I learned, but how you will even manage age-old second-level management in the company, like CFOs or CEOs, or some of them are maybe sitting here. I just want to understand, it's not that easy as a third-generation entrepreneur to take the legacy forward. I have seen that because I have interacted with many others actually. Among all of people will see that privileged silver spoon generation, but it's not like that. I have seen with I have interacted with many third generation entrepreneurs, and it's very difficult. So over to you. What was your experience? What was it exciting or interesting, or what changes you made?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Axis Bank, for giving me this opportunity to speak here. Answering your question, I would be strategic. I joined 10 years back in the family business after my MSc. So 10 years back we are also now even in present, we are mainly doing business in commodity which is edible oil refining and flour milling. So when I joined, my family senior management told me to focus on maximizing value of our product. My elder brother was also there. So my duty as a chemical engineer was to focus on value addition, byproduct coming from edible oil line. So I was thinking now, I am very fortunate that I did not go directly to the conventional business. We focused on value addition of the upstream, downstream. We executed forward integration, backward integration. And now we are having almost more than 4 food divisions. We are now doing ready-to-eat food products. We are now doing specialty oils, which is oils used to make chocolate compound, ice cream coating, chocobar coating. We are into frozen food products, puff pastry sheet. We export frozen food products. We are into bakery premixes. So all this product, the major raw material is our backbone, which is flour and edible oils. So we have a domain expertise, and I would say the senior management they already have a risk appetite, but they showed the trust in us in the second, third generation, and we are doing okay. We are break even, but we are yet to show the profits. But when you, especially with the food in manufacturing, when you talk about launching new products, you have to imagine putting up a new land, new factory, new arena. No, with Parisons, our biggest advantage is the resource sharing. So all of our new lines are in our existing facility, which is, we have a big advantage in CapEx, OpEx. Even on a micro level, we share the project management team, finance team. So this has only happened with the support of my father and his brothers, and especially the people involved. People involved meaning people who have been with us for more than 10 years before I was joining. So they are very flexible, adaptive to the instantaneous changes which is happening in their surroundings. So I would say we are doing good, and with the new products which we have launched, we are doing okay, but still profits are coming from the mother business, and we are very hopeful in the coming years we will do good with our new products.
So what I take cue is that now you mean to say that even when you joined as a third generation entrepreneur, the people who are more than 10 years old, they were also flexible. That's good to hear actually. They were adaptive to learning and good things actually. Great to hear that. So
quickly I'll see, my father started in a trading, father and his brothers, 3 brothers. So they started in trading, and then they moved to flour milling manufacturing. Then they diversified into edible oil. So all this is all strategic. So flour goes with edible oils. Now we are in tea, we are doing sugar also. So the culture of risk-taking appetite and moving towards the other areas within the complex, it's already there. So that culture it's already there with the employees, and it's in the second generation also.
Yeah. So that also reminds
it's
me
in
that
the DNA. Yeah, I would say like that. We have a DNA.
You are a company with more than 50 products and more than
Yes.
2-3 large brands, but you are sitting next to a single product, single brand, and you have got another large brand. So I don't know, all are good actually. You mean to say that whether whatever
Ashraf Khan said a good thing which he focused on those. So we are as a third generation, I tell my cousins, and even as we as a group to focus on single things. So the upcoming people will only be focusing on one thing because you cannot handle everything.
Oh, very good,
Yeah,
very good.
so
Nice to hear. Okay, coming back to Agile, I just wanted to know more specific because I'm a banker. I'm curious to know that, what more can we do as institutions like banks, not only banks, there are industry bodies, local government bodies. What you expect as MSMEs in Kerala specifically? What is the industry, are these institutions friendly to you compared to other parts of the country? Or is there something more can be done in the coming age?
So I think the first thing what the institutions, or including the banks and the local bodies, should change is the attitude or the mindset. No, I mean, even you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that Kerala is not investor friendly or business friendly. So that attitude or mindset should be changed first. We should say it loudly that Kerala is ready for it. Kerala is ready for enterprises. We are ready to welcome investors. It is an investment friendly land, and that should be done at the early stage, I think, and that should be said loud and clear to the world.
So coming to Ashraf sir, what makes it difficult for all these MSMEs when this digitization is attacking us? Sometime back Brijesh was talking, era of globalization probably is taking a side stage, and probably this regional FTAs or regionalization or local flavor is bringing a second center stage. So in that era, looking through the lens of AI, that is going to take over us. What do you feel? Digitization for MSMEs, are they equipped? Is the aura around digitization or AI is already there, or is it something which is a mirage which we are working for? What is from your side? What do you see?
See, my experience, I'm not an expert on the subject, but I feel it is required. But for small and medium enterprises, maybe the capital investment is too high. So very small companies like for us, specifically for our company, we have invested on certain softwares, but then we haven't gone deep enough because of the capex requirement. That is a limitation as far as small industries are concerned. But I think there is no way to avoid it. We'll have to find a way to learn, invest, and use AI. It is absolutely required. It's a very positive development that is happening in the world, and we have to use it. So we'll have to find a way to reduce the cost and use it.
Coming to Shabas, what I wanted to think through you is that, what is the youth contribution? You represent a larger part of Kerala. We hear about migrating youth and probably, ബംഗാളികൾ കേരളം കീഴടക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളൊരു അപവാദമൊക്കെ കേൾക്കുന്ന സമയമാണല്ലോ. So what do you think about, I don't see North Kerala is much affected by brain drain, but if you look at from down south to Thrissur, I have seen aged parents living in family. So will it affect our company, FMCG companies like that? Sometime back, I remember you quoting an example to me that, producing a product in Kerala, and while Kerala is a 3.5 crore population, producing that and supplying in Kerala, rather than that, produce in Bangalore or next state and, supplying into the Kerala is a much wiser option. So is it something to do with the brain drain, youth contribution to MSMEs? What is your thought about it?
there is nothing to do with the brain drain. Kerala is not, first of all, a producing state. And we are having some crop, we are having some resources, which is rubber, coir, spices. So whatever is effectively being produced from Kerala, you can do an MSME based on that product. But when it comes to our field, which is flour milling, if you are doing a regional business, if you put a flour mill in one place, you can supply there. But if you want to go pan India or South India, we have analyzed Kerala is not the right place. It is not because of people are going out from Kerala. The labor itself is difficult because you have labor coming from North India. And the products which we do, wheat, edible oil, Kerala population is 3 crore. Having said that, a small population, the value per person will be higher in Kerala. But the market size is very huge in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, when you go up country. And for example, if you're doing something on edible oils, if you put up something in Mangalore based port, you can easily supply your products to Karnataka plus Kerala. But if you are in Kerala, you are at a disadvantage. So that side, and even we are thinking to put up something in Pune also, because the floor prices are cheap. You have a good distribution system. The market is very huge. If you compare Bangalore, the population is 1.5 crore. So even with the edible oil size or the flour milling, the flour milk size, it's huge.
But then there will be competition also to that extent, no?
Competition will be there. Your domain expertise and your passion should be there. Competition will always be there. And the more north you go, the more competition, and you have to reduce the selling price.
Okay.
So Kerala gives a value. Even when I travel to Maharashtra or Hyderabad, my competitor, the sales manager will say, oh, you are from Kerala, it's easy to sell your product there, you get a value there. It's there.
Actually, this is my favorite topic, so I'm repeating the same question to you also. Like, how we will engage youth more for growth of MSME? Because I work with youth a little bit outside my office hours, so I got this passion of, developing youth for working for India, rather than, going out and, wasting your brain, or rather, I won't say wasting, rather for some other country why you should work. So I got this passion to work for the state. So I want to ask you this question again, that how you will see, how we can effectively engage youth for this MSME leadership for the state or for the country for that matter.
So I think for the youth, you mentioned about the migration which is happening in Kerala. The youth is traveling or shifting to other countries or the other parts of the world. So I think why is that so, that we need to discuss. Then only that we can find a solution, right? So I think better pay could be one of the major reason why the youth, or better lifestyle is one of the major reason why the youth is shifting to other parts of the world. So I think we should focus there. I mean, especially we come from a developer or a construction industry where we have a major role to play. So that's why we're building a large developments. We're bringing in more and more large developments to our city or to our state. We are building a better lifestyle, like retail projects, commercial projects, IT parks, tech parks, everything we're building in Kerala, throughout Kerala. So we have a major role to play to bring youth back to our state. And the recent LinkedIn, I think there's a survey which was posted by the industries minister recently. The highest growth of migration which has happened to Kerala, that is reverse migration which has happened to in Kerala, is the highest in the country. I think it stands at 175% or something, where 175% of real talent pool has migrated back to our state from different parts of the globe. Could be because of the political or geographical reasons. So that could be one reason. Better infrastructure and better lifestyle could be the major part. And secondly, I think like the knowledge series, like you mentioned, this educational for MSMEs, the moment we say that, or the moment our kids say that they want to become an entrepreneur, we'll say immediately, I'm sure that none of the parents here would encourage your child to become an entrepreneur at maybe, let's say, 8th grade or 9th grade or 10th grade, or even after 11th or 12th. The moment the child comes and says that I want to become a businessman or an entrepreneur, the parent would definitely say that get a degree first and then we look into getting into enterprise or entrepreneurship. So that thought process has to be changed. This knowledge series should be, I think we should begin at the education level, especially in the middle school or the high school level. We actually have schools in I Calicut and Malappuram. I was in discussion with your competition, other bank in the state, in the city. For a discussion, we wanted to collaborate with the bank for educational classes and course in our school, but unfortunately it didn't take off. So I think that can be looked at by Axis Bank, where you can educate our students the importance of entrepreneurship and enterprises, how you can improve on that. So that can be started at the young level, not on when you're 25, 26, 30 or something, no? So that can be looked into at school level or college level.
This Evolve is becoming a next set of Evolve. We get a lot of ideas today. Ashwin, you have to make note of it. Yeah, I think, it's a very good suggestion, like something which we should do it. Very happy about hearing that. I'm very pleased to hear. Going to Ashraf sir, what kept you motivated, and what advice you can give to these other MSMEs here in moving forward? Probably there were days when you would have thought, it's enough, I can call it a day, or probably there was times it was so jubilant days also. What advice you can give to them so that from your experience they can take out something?
See, every business, ups and downs, is part of your business. Absolutely, there will be a lot of downs. But in my case, we are very focused and passionate about what we do, and we kept going. We had a lot of crises, a lot of issues. My first factory was in Calicut. We had a lot of problems with, those days in 90s. Then we had to move from here to Cochin, start another factory there, and subsequently move to an industrial estate in Malappuram. By then, Kerala became a lot more industry friendly. So we had to go through a lot to get to where we reached today. And we also moved to Karnataka and Hyderabad, because the market size is much, much bigger, like he mentioned earlier. Kerala is not a very large market for my product. So we had to move out of Kerala. So all this hurdles we had to go through, and now we've established a certain presence. And there's always, light at the end of the tunnel. So you have to keep positive and keep working, and everything will sort itself out. That's my experience. Thank you.
Probably they don't have so much darkness ahead. The way you came 10 years in that tunnel, probably there are lot many lights are there, or lot many leaders are there like you.
If you work hard, there's always result. I don't think you can fail, because India is a great market. It's a growing market. What I've seen now, I could not imagine in 90s. The size of the market, the growth, the demand, it's amazing. In the last 5 years, especially after COVID, things are so much better. But, like in the 90s when we started our business, the market was so small and fragmented. Today, everything is getting organized. My customers are primarily builders. The builders are getting really organized. It's much, much easier to deal with them compared to before. The scaling up of, that industry is helping my industry. So things are so much better now. I'm, enjoying my business so much more than, 10 years back. So there's always, and India is going places. We can all see it. So there's always, great scope in the future. And there's always a great future for all our industries.
I used to ask, sir, chairman always, 5,000 plus distributors, large employee force. It's eventually it's a commodity, not one brand, multi-brand. I ask the same question again. So I just want to ask you, how this supply chain effectively, how you manage. What was your experience? What was, probably I will say the other side, collection issues. Today it's not much there. Everything is probably coming through banking system. But what is your experience on managing such large franchisee and including managing collections, payment, or supply chain management?
So first of all, our sales team is divided. So we have a B2B sales team, we have a B2C sales team. And the supply chain also, nowadays for B2C we have an exclusive supply chain, and for B2B we have a clubbed supply chain. And even in B2B we are having different division. Earlier in B2B the same sales force used to take care of wheat flour, edible oils, the specialty oils, but now we have almost 3 sets of sales force in B2B. And B2C we have one, but we are planning to we are going to divide. So we have to divide when the number of product grows, when the number of distributor goes. And the supply chain life cycle will be different for each product. So you have to, for example, for B2C you have to have small vehicles, for B2B you will have to have bigger vehicles. So that's one criteria. On the payment follow-up, I think there are, I don't think, I'll just share my thoughts which I have learned from my senior management, especially from father. Few things is that you have to do a credit check of the customer, you have to follow up, you have to, the third is you try to do with advance payment, but in our industry 75% goes with credit. But from my perspective, because I keep traveling to the other states of India and then we supply to new customers, so I always see when you show a value to your product with your distributors and to your end consumer, you keep getting the payment. Eventually, if you have to sell, you can just reduce the price and sell, but then you'll have to always go for advance payment. But if you show the value of your product throughout your supply chain till the end consumer, you'll always be on the safer side.
That's a good thought. I never heard that, you keep delivering value, then collections will not be a problem.
For a small example, if you are selling a parota flour, the hotelier is making great parota with my flour, so he'll have to come and buy. So even if I give him some credit, end of the day, the stipulated period, he will do the payment and then buy my product. Likewise, the distributor in the middle will keep on buying. So that value, if you show, you won't have any issues.
Great. I just continue. Ajil, same thought, no? On like collections or payments or whatever it is. Coming to even selling, I think RERA has brought a lot of changes to our industry. Good. While initially industry itself was confused and bankers were also perplexed that, how to take it forward. A lot of changes are brought in. So now, today you have been organized. Sir was telling that your industry, construction industry completely got organized that make all the other industry also flourish very easily. So how you see digital innovation in this? How you see digital selling on this actually? Today, I have seen that some of the companies moving completely to digital, but I have not seen a digital complete marketing campaign on on our product. Whether is possibility is there, whether what is happening in Western countries, whether in our product it is a digital marketing, digital innovation, what is happening?
See, I think since you mentioned RERA, I think RERA has brought in a lot of changes in our industries, particularly like Ashok sir mentioned, our industry has become very organized now. I mean, earlier everybody used to make buildings, sell, maybe run away with the money, or maybe half done, the building is half done and cannot move ahead. So I think now it's well organized. Only the genuine players can sustain in the market. So I think we're able to do good numbers also, and Kerala's growing market, we like even though it's not a producing market, it is a consumer market. So I think we have a good housing demand, good retail demand, and good commercial demand which is coming up, and there's a good growth potential in Kerala, and that's, I think, the industry is growing, which again is affecting the other industry in a positive way. And when you mentioned the digitalization, earlier we mentioned about the AI and adaptation of technology. You cannot run away with or say no to technology or AI at this world, especially the world is running in a very competitive pace. So I think we need to adapt such technologies. We have adapted a lot of software changes, technology changes, especially in our sales, marketing, or finance, or everything, the way we deal with banks, I think institutions, everything has been changing. And the recent one has been the tokenization, right? The digital tokenization, where you, a customer, can own a part of a real estate with just your mobile. You can just create an account and you can be a part of a real estate or a building. Maybe a small share, you can take it. It's called digital tokenization. So such changes have been happening in the West, and I'm sure that it is going to come up in our state also. And it has been happening in our other neighboring states. So I think it will come up in our state also, right? A lot of changes in technology wise. In terms of construction also, I'm sure that production technology, construction technology, everything has been changing in a very fast pace.
Ashraf sir, taking cues from him, what is your, any take for Calicut, specifically for MSMEs in Calicut, or for industry altogether who is listening to you today? What is that you will see the future of Calicut for the MSMEs, or what is that, all these kind of changes which is bringing, the government changes, the policy changes, be it a globalization to localization, whatever it is. What do you see that for Calicut, how it is for us, നമ്മുടെ നാടിന് എന്താണ് benefit എന്നുള്ളത് പറയാമോ?
See, infrastructure in Calicut is improving. Great development, like Highlight, for example. I've dealt with Highlight from when they were starting to now, so look at the change. Roads are getting better, airport is getting better. We have a nice, like KEF is coming up, it's a great wellness center, hospitals, hospitality, new hotels are coming, malls are coming. So Calicut is changing along with the rest of India. I live partly in Bangalore now. I love to come back to Calicut now. It's a beautiful city. It's not too small, but It's nice to live. So it's a great place to always come back. People are lovely here. Compared to any part of the world I go, I just want to come back here. Because just amazing people, the warmth you get from the people here, you don't get anywhere else in India. And as far as industries, manufacturing is concerned, maybe Calicut is not the place for large industries. For small industries or tourism or MSME, Calicut is great. There are some good industrial estates around Calicut. We have a factory now in one of the industrial estates in Malappuram called Inkel. It's a almost 300 acres of industrial estate promoted by Kerala government. The environment is good. It's a nice place to set up a small manufacturing units, not very large ones. So yeah, Calicut has enough for our kind of industries.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks. Nice to hear that. Any final thoughts, Shabas? This is a final question. I've been allotted 45 minutes and I'm stopping at 43rd minute. So, just what is your thought about future of Calicut or future of the businesses from Kerala altogether? It's not about Calicut. For the state of Kerala, what is that you look forward to?
Kerala, because of the expat population, Kerala has always got the money with them. So, and as I said earlier, the value per customer is always good in Kerala. So, Kerala has got always good opportunity. Then I think as Highlight is coming up with a lot of new infrastructure, people from other states will also invest in Kerala and they will maybe make their place as a retirement place. So Kerala has got a lot of opportunity.
So then that brings to end of my session and over to Bina.
Thank you, James, Mr. Ajal, Mr. Ashraf, and Mr. Shabazz. Truly an engaging and insightful session. I request all of you to please stay back. We have a small memento presentation, and now invite Mr. Vijay Shetty and Mr. Brajesh Chalal to present a memento to Mr. Ajal Mohammed. Onto the stage, please. Now, I'd like to invite Mr. Shaljit to deliver the vote of thanks and formally conclude this wonderful evening.
Thank you all for your time and presence. At Axis Bank, our commitment goes beyond banking. We are your partners in progress, from working capital and trade finance to digital tools that simplify operations. We are here to support the evolving needs of MSMEs. We proudly stand by our vision of access for MSME, where every MSME finds a trusted financial partner in us. With that, we conclude today's session. We hope it's been an insightful evening for everyone. Today, we all have come to know that Kozhikode is not only famous for its halwa, but much more. So, heartfelt thanks to all our speakers for sharing their perspectives on MSMEs, powering the trillion-dollar economy. Please join us for cocktail and dinner. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks all once again. Thank you.